Keep 100% of your claim. G4 Claims.
If you've been hurt in a road accident that wasn't your fault, you should really talk to G4 Claims first. Unlike road accident solicitors, we don't charge you for our services, which could see you better off. To keep 100% of your compensation, have a chat with Nicole and the team. You'll be glad you did. Search online for G4 Claims.
Keep 100% of your claim. G4 Claims.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, finally, to the Sellik the Thunder podcast. It's been a while. We've not been able to get in the studio the last two Thursdays. It's been booked out. We've been late to the call. But this week, we're here. And hopefully we're here regularly once more. It's episode number 98 of the podcast, which means I'll start off by asking the question, who was Celtic's top scorer in the 1997/98 campaign?
Lawson?
You may as well do it then, apparently. So I'm getting mixed responses on Google, but I'm going to go with this one. Celtic's top goal scorer in the 1997/98 season was Henrik Larsson with 19 goals. Obviously a very important season. We stopped the 10. Wim Janssen brought the league back to Celtic. Feels like yesterday, Kieran.
I know. I remember it well.
Hello. Welcome to the two years. I'll start with you, Ryan, on the left-hand side. How have you been keeping them? Update our eager audience who've been waiting for your return. Even though they can see you anyway, but you know what I have to do.
Yeah, I'm pretty frequent with regard to the Celtic videos. But yeah, I'm delighted to be back. It feels like an age. So much has happened since we were last on the show. What were we previewing or reviewing?
Previewing
Lazio. We're previewing Lazio. God, what
we were so young and full of hope.
And now look at us.
Yeah, a lot has changed since. Well, has a lot changed since then?
I feel there's been a couple of ups and downs.
It's been an up and down roller coaster as usual.
That's a point that I've made on my other podcast, that it is very much up and down when it comes to Brendan Rodgers Celtic at the moment. People are either on a euphoric high or a big Debbie Downer low, basically.
We're going to talk about it.
No in between.
No in between. Kieran, I'll come to you then on the right hand side. How have you been keeping? How you doing?
I'm trying to think what's actually happened. I mean, uni's been back in fourth year now, so brutal.
Yep.
Oh, I just didn't want to think about it.
You've just annoyed yourself.
I've
just seen the disappointment in your face. Just trying.
This is the escape.
Aye, I know. We'll try not to talk about uni. We're obviously away to Madrid on Monday, so you excited for that?
I'm excited. I mean, hopefully we can get a result, but I already resigned myself when we booked it that this was going to be a game that we won't get a result in. But I don't know. I'm sure come Tuesday night when I've had a few beers, I'll be fully the confidence.
Yeah, we'll come on to talking about Tuesday a wee bit probably towards the end. Nothing major because we have got a lot to talk about and get out of the way. In fact, we're starting the show with some breaking news like moments ago, or I say moments ago, I think it was about half an hour ago. Celtic have released a statement via a spokesperson in regard to some comments made earlier today by Israel boss Alan Hazen, who I keep confusing with Alan Hansen when I see it, but Alan Hazen, who put out an outrageous claim earlier today saying that the Celtic support in their abundance are an anti-Semitic group of supporters in his kind of rallying of Liel Abada. Wasn't a statement from him that was well thought out, and it made a lot of Celtic fans rightfully angry on social media, calling for the club to make comment. They haven't went the full 9 yards in making a traditional statement. However, the spokesperson said earlier today, any suggestion that the Celtic support is an anti-Semitic is totally inaccurate. Celtic is a diverse club, proud to be open to all ever since its formation in 1888. Everyone at Celtic Football Club continues to give Liel our full support. So that was the very brief statement from Celtic. Which I'll just kick it off. Thoughts, Ryan, about the whole thing, I suppose?
I think the comments are absolutely disgraceful from a national team manager, and he probably should be considering his position with stuff coming out with stuff like that. That's you could end up in court with comments like that, because it's defamation of a full support. Celtic could really take this more seriously if they wanted to. To tar a whole fan base with that one brush, a brush that's getting used quite a lot recently, just due to politics. I don't want to go too much into it because, you know, there's plenty of podcasts in which you can do that, see the ins and outs of what's happening over there. But to paint the whole support in a word or a term like that is just, it's disgraceful in my opinion.
Yeah, Kieran, it's probably not the start we expected to our return podcast, to be addressing such a matter, but once again, same that I said to Ryan, just your general thoughts.
I mean, as Ryan said, it's disgraceful that somebody can come out and hit out with stuff like that, and it will be with no repercussion because
we know who's involved.
You've seen, like, you're not allowed to say anything against it with it being branded an anti-Semite, and I think, I mean, I don't want to get too much into it, but I feel like there's a lot of people that are just going along with that narrative that the whole, we'll go into the whole Palestine flag thing and that, but it's just, people are very uneducated on the matter, and I feel it's the least educated that have the loudest voices in this current situation, and it's just frustrating. But it's I really when McGinlay said to me when you were at the room there about like the situation with the comments for him, I was I bet Celtic don't do it, and then he said, but I'm surprised that Celtic have said anything, but as we spoke about the fact that it's no been an official statement, it feels like yet again just another thing at the back door, because it's like even when the banning order for the Green Brigade will come on to no official thing's been put on the website. I was half expecting to put a statement up and then they'll put a post for it on social media because they knew the backlash it would get. But it's annoying because it's just, I know we'll come more onto the situation with the Green Brigade and that, but it feels like we keep shooting ourselves in the foot all the time, off the park especially, because when things seem to be going good at Celtic, there's always something I feel that happens that then just completely takes us off course, but I'm sure we'll come on to that. Yeah,
I mean, you touched on was there a surprise or whatever in Celtic bringing out a statement and actually responding to it. One thing I'm not surprised at is the lack of statement, because it's not really a statement, is it? Let's be real, it's just a wee, we've heard that. You know, it's just acknowledging that it's actually happened, whereas I feel if they... with the powers that are involved in this whole situation, we know what it's like. There's no point in diving into the politics of everything because it's, you know, we know what's going on, right? There's no point. There's no point in us trying to like kind of explain what's happening and why it's like this. But I feel like Celtic now in two separate occasions this week and what they've done with the Green Brigade and now this statement have really made it clear that they are just wanting to do anything in their power probably to appease the ones at the top. You know, they know what they're doing. You know, anything to please UEFA and the higher ups anywhere, that's of their best interest. And you can see, because I think that this is more entitled to a bigger statement than that. You know, this is something more serious. The guy, as you said, defamation. They've came out and labelled an entire football club, an entire institution as anti-Semitic.
I wonder if they were in such a huff with the things that have happened with the Green Brigade, if they would have came out and made a bigger statement, but I think they've had to go out and say something, but they don't want to come out and defend them at the hilt, sort of thing. Their
silence should have been worse on this. They had to say something with regard. If they are allowed to let this basically fly without any... I mean,
they're already under enough scrutiny. The people who run this club are under continuous scrutiny. And if they let that slide under, I would have loved to have seen what the response would be.
Like I think in society, I think there's a dark cloud due to what's happening over there, but it seems... with regard to Celtic, there are a lot of positives that are happening just now. You know, there's some good players coming through. You know, Brendan Rodgers is back at the club, but just this whole thing that's going on between the Green Brigade and the board, it just seems like a real dark cloud and an unnecessary one as well.
Should we'll get on to it then, because it's the elephant in the room, and people are wanting to speak about it, and people want to know people's opinions on it, because there has been conflicting, you know, kind of fans conflicting opinion online constantly, as there always is when it comes to the Green Brigade and ultra groups. It's just it's a fact of life at this point that some people like it, some people don't. Let's just put it to the basics very quickly. The Green Brigade have been banned. They've had their season tickets indefinitely suspended. They can't purchase away tickets either until further notice, when God knows that'll be. The entire group's been punished, and also people who sit in the area who aren't even attached to the group as well, as far as I'm aware. The club,
by association.
The club haven't issued an official statement on it. All they've done is email supporters affected, and also emailed us, supporters who aren't affected. And which, funnily enough, I think the emails that we received when they let us know what was going on were more in detail than the ones that the people in the Green Brigade got. I feel like the emails we
I
got.
didn't even read the email.
I didn't read my own personally. I just seen somebody's on Twitter. Mine goes into my junk, so I missed it. But I read, someone else posted theirs. So basically, we're at a point here now where the board have banned them from the stadium. They've put it down for a number of reasons. However, it seems like the preliminary reason for it, the main reason for it, I might say primary, not preliminary. The primary reason for it seems to be because of the Palestinian flag display against Atletico Madrid. That seemed to be the straw that broke the camel's back. So we now stand at a point where we don't know when the fans will return. The Celtic Trust have put out a statement. The Green Brigade themselves have put out a statement in rebuttal to the situation. I think two brilliantly put together statements as well, if I was to speak personally. We're right at a moment of weird sort of middle grounds, aren't we? It's just frustrating because, like, I don't understand how you can just lock out the most vocal element of the support. And I mean, you seen last night, that's Celtic Park for the foreseeable now. Mm-hmm. Like, people, I mean, granted, it was maybe like 10 minutes of singing, but that was only when we scored. Like, it's poisonous. Like, and when people, I remember when Green Brigade staged never turned up for a game and we dropped points the last time, and they're saying, oh, fucking, we dropped points because you never came in. And
2021, I think
so they dropped points that game because they let the club down by no coming in and supporting them. And then now that they're barred again, last night going into that game, it had the makings for me a game in which we were going to drop points, and I think we were very lucky that we never. Because I just think everything leading up to that game, everything about it, I was filled with zero confidence going in because you knew how flat it was going to be.
And it lived up to that expectation.
It's just, I just don't see the... I know the club have got their backs up and seem to think they can't be seen to be doing nothing, but it just seems excessive.
Yep.
And for the fact that they can just suspend the season tickets without any... Like, in previous times it's been either barred for this game, it's one or two matches or something, but this time to say indefinitely suspended and no split date and site in which they can return. And it seems to be like a lack of dialogue as well between the two.
That's what I was going to come on here.
I'm pretty sure they've been the fans have been told not to contact the SLO, liaison officer, and I'm pretty sure that goes against UEFA's SLO guidelines to say your fans are not allowed to be getting in contact with them, and they were citing reasons against with things at Hibs away at the weekend as well, where
they weren't even at the game, were they?
Our very own SLO was asking for feedback on the poor management of fans.
Were they? Can I get clarification here? Were the Green Brigade even at that game? Were they allowed? I thought that was one of the ones they were revoked access for. I thought that was part of this.
I think the first one was it the game before? Was it Tynecastle that they were knocked out of? Yeah,
so they wouldn't have been there at Easter Road then?
No.
So but they've cited that game against Hibs as one of the reasons.
Unless that was it an earlier game? No, was it not? Was it?
No, it said Hibs at the weekend. I was so confused when I read the statement. I read it and I was like, well, hold the bus. How can they justify looking at the Green Brigade or whatever when citing that as one of the reasons when they weren't even at the game? I want to come on to that point that Kieran just raised there, not to get caught up on ifs, buts or maybes. The lack of dialogue seems to be a real killer at the minute. That seems to be one of the biggest problems. There seems to be no dialogue. I think there's always this sensationalism when the Green Brigade do get banned. The people who don't like them suddenly are piping up and they create
take
this.
It and run with
it. They love it. It's like they're looking for the excuse, and then the excuse comes there, and then when they don't, then you see a fantastically well put together statement by the Green Brigade, and it is what it is, I suppose.
I mean, you seen that cunt on, was it STV News Twitter last night, sitting applauding, saying, think how much money it costs the club in fines. See if you're sitting there losing sleep about how much
20 grand.
are getting fined.
Dermot Desmond's losing 20 grand. Oh, God forbid.
Honestly, it sounds like a pure entitled, like, oh, we're minted. Like, what the fuck? Like, why do you care if the club's getting fined £20,000? Like, it's not coming out of your pocket. Like, and even
it's not like your season ticket price goes up because
even the fine inevitably comes in for like the Palestinian flags as well. I mean, you've seen in the past when that happened, the fine was matched, and then it benefited charities and that. So it's like a lot of people really seem to go with this, or the club keep getting fined. Like, what does it matter, realistically? Yeah, because it's like the way sometimes even when I speak to my dad, but he's an older guy and he doesn't really care, but he'll always revert to the club are losing money, and I'm like, a 20 grand fine is hardly going to. It was the shite that Neil Lennon had out with the other season. It was like, all these fines early years, that could have been a player.
What player?
What bargain basement player are you talking about? It's just wild because that's the main thing I think people run with when, as we've said, when people don't like the Green Brigade and other sections of the support, it's like they really run with every wee thing they can and try and blow it out of proportion. But if your main reason is fines for the club, like, I know they can maybe add up, but it's hardly, we're not getting fined 3 million.
When you're winning 40 million quid to get into the Champions League, it becomes a very minuscule.
It's chump change. Like, at the level we're operating at, it is.
Aye.
And to cite that as a reason is just like, oh no, is the bonuses for the people on the board going to be lower this year? Fucking heart. I
know my heart bleeds for them living in their fucking ivory towers.
It's just ridiculous.
I want to come on to that because to avoid sounding like cheerleader. Look, listen, none of us have affiliations to anybody.
No.
Not a Green Brigade, neither the Celtic board. We're right in the middle of this. But I want to come back to a point very quickly before we start moving on and such as well. And just to avoid sounding like Green Brigade cheerleaders, Ryan, it does though have a direct impact of what we see in the stadium week in, week out, on and off the park. It makes Celtic Park a better place to be. It makes it a harder place to go for an opposition. And ultimately, it's the catalyst that lifts that team on the park. And without it, we struggle. Yeah. And we struggled the other night.
It was when I was writing for the Celtic Way last night on the instant analysis, one of my points was this circus, this sideshow needs to end. One way or the other. There needs to be a resolution brought in about it. You don't want to go too heavily on one side or the other because we need to know every single fact before you get an informed opinion on things. But when you take it at face value, there needs to be that element of the crowd, and you look at in Germany, you take the ultras away in Germany, Celtic Park, it becomes just like Celtic Park was last night. It becomes sort of like a tourist attraction. People just want to sit, maybe have sweets, maybe have food or drinks. There needs to be that vocal element that keep the crowd going, that keep the start chants so that the crowd can sing along with them and keep that beat going for the whole 90 minutes. When that isn't there, then you've got a couple of supporters trying to start chants and songs. Nothing's cohesive at all. There's no cohesion to the singing. It's just different pockets. Doesn't help even more when the boys decide to go in solidarity with the Green Brigade and there's no vocal fan element whatsoever. The only vocal fan element was about a minute before Celtic scored last night, where the Celtic chant started coming in. And I think that just shows you the 12th man coming into play there, because I think the Celtic players really fed off of that energy. If that energy was there maybe earlier on in the game, Celtic could have had a better performance. I do think you look at you've got to make that example of the 2020-21 season as well. And there was no fans.
Do you know what annoys me? Because do you know what annoys me? The people who sit there and say, "Oh, the atmosphere at Celtic Park is what we can be the 12th man," and it's I'm not a lot of guys maybe in the older element, and not everybody, absolutely not. But in my comments will be the older guys like, "We don't need the Green Brigade. We don't need them. They don't make a difference." Yada yada. But they're the same ones that go, "Oh, Celtic Park, a Champions League night makes a difference." So it's one or the other because the atmosphere comes for them. So what one is it?
People really like to big up the Celtic Park atmosphere, especially on European nights, but it's the same people that say you're talking about the small section of people that would say, "Oh, we had an atmosphere before they came along and that," but there's no reliance on the ultras groups. So it's like you might sit and say that, "Oh, there can be an atmosphere without it," but you can watch when you try and do it. It's not going to take off. There needs to, as Ryan says, there needs to be that vocal element. Try to spur the team.
I think people forget as well, for the majority of our existence, we had a stadium that was packed with 100,000 people in it every week. You know what I mean? No wonder there was atmosphere for years before the Green Brigade. I'm told they modernised the stadium. That was the highest attendance Celtic will ever see. That's why there was atmosphere.
It's just I feel like it's just gone back to things. It feels very COVID season-esque, like the way we're talking about things. 'Cause I remember all the whole when it was the protests and that happening, and that I feel like it was a very similar sort of vein that this debate, I'll call it, is in, where people sort of attacking the Green Brigade and then the bite back, and that it's something you don't want to be happening, but it's the club that have put this situation in. They're the ones that have took them out the ground and made this debate spark up yet again. It's frustrating because you've always got the element of people that don't like the Green Brigade and that, but then it just gives the ammunition for them to keep going, and it does divide the support quite a great bit, because you've got a lot of people that say, "Oh, they don't speak for me," but I'd go out on a limb and say they speak for a whole lot more of the support than what the Celtic board do. I think the values they uphold is certainly
they're the values that the club should uphold, and we don't, because the people that run the club are so out of touch.
Fans are the only ones trying to uphold. They talk about the ethos of Celtic being this club, more than a club, but when push comes to shove, the board don't show that in the slightest. The fans are the only ones that can try and uphold that, while the board just sit back and let the values of the club be diluted, and so many people are just so happy to sit back and
watch
let that happen.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of Celtic trying to install a museum, trying to install hotels.
Yep.
They'll install a library at Celtic Park if they don't bring the Green Brigade back.
And listen, the hypocrisy is hilarious. They realise the hypocrisy. You're talking about them building a museum, right? They want to build a museum. How are they going to build that museum without getting politics involved? Are they just going to ignore the opening stages of Celtic's history? Is that what they're going to do? Apparently politics has no place at Celtic Park. If you want to build a museum, you're going to get a hell of a lot political, because it's got a lot to do with politics. The club's fundamentally built on politics. It's the reason the club exists. They played a song over the tannoy forever and ever and ever, right? It was called Let the People Sing. And the song, they talk about battle cries, they talk about famine and oppression. It's a very political song that they played at Celtic Park week in, week out for years. They've stopped playing it over the last couple of weeks. Why? Because they've realised their own hypocrisy. So what is it?
The people that were singing aren't there anymore.
What is it? Is it political or is it not?
Keep politics out of football unless it's Ukraine, and then it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically the message that's been sent out by UEFA.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like, obviously you can support Ukraine and that, but like you can't be allowed to support one and then the other one is classed as anti-Semitism, because that's just such a horribly wild take to be thrown out there, and so many people just seem to be taking that and running with that as what it should be. And it's just, I feel like we're getting really into this here, but we're probably, my three boys here that sit and talk mince most days, but I feel like with the situation, I think it's hard to bite your tongue and just let people be ridiculous with what they're saying.
Pardon the pun, but it's an absolute minefield
Yeah.
to talk about.
Because
You can't please
there's
everybody.
going to be people in the comments who say you don't know what you're talking about and that, but get it up them.
Simply put, I couldn't echo it any better myself.
That was like the 2020-21 Kieran coming back.
Aye, it was. But it's frustrating because you're not allowed to have an opinion, and then somebody else has got an opinion, yours is irrelevant. And listen, I respect that everybody's got their own opinions, whether it be about the conflict itself, whether it be about the Green Brigade, or whether it be about the performance on Wednesday night. It can be big or it can be small. Everybody's got a different opinion on everything. We use this as a platform to put ours out there. I feel like we've put that out pretty well. And if people don't agree with it, they don't agree with it. It doesn't mean that it's the end of the fucking world.
It would be boring if everybody had the same opinion.
Aye. What is it the famous saying is? It's opinions are like arseholes. Everybody's got one. That's how it goes.
You said it. So okay.
Right, I mean, I feel like we've basically covered all grounds in relation to all of that. I don't know if there's any kind of final points anybody wants to chuck in.
I didn't want to get too political when talking about it, because that is like a minefield, literally. But
You say the wrong thing and you're...
absolutely. Yeah, Terminado, as Brendan Rodgers would say back in 2018, 2019. But I just think on a football element, that vocal support needs to be there. It's not going to be there any other way apart from both representatives of both sides have got to sit down and have an adult conversation about it and get things sorted. Whether that happens or not is a different question altogether, but you live in hope.
One last thing before we move on to the halftime quiz, right? Do you know what always winds me up? See when you get like the odd old punter in the comments and they're like, "Well, you stand up and sing then." I'm like, yes, because me, Ryan Fitzsimons, I'm going to get the stadium going, aren't I? I stand on my feet and everybody's going to get going. No, I don't think so. I really doubt it.
For them to try it.
Aye.
Right, see just one thing, even about that, see just talk about the game and that, like see some of the midweek games, some of the stoters that
don't get me started, man.
I witnessed a guy in the row in front last night stand up, take his just weigh him and go and sit right down the front of the section and move away for the people that were beside him. I'm like, who are getting these cunt stickers, man?
I know, it's nuts. It's been the same for years.
I was getting at fucking St Mirren at home on a Wednesday, man.
You've got to respect it.
I don't. No, I don't at all. No. Get a grip.
I understand everybody's allowed to voice their opinion at football, but it wasn't even voicing an opinion. It was just Calum, Calum, go on, Calum. Even when McGregor's knowing the ball, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
It was a nightmare.
That old guy you were talking about him being on it. Was he on it or? What was it that was bad there? Sorry.
Last night it was somebody sitting in the row in front of us. It was a woman that was quite clearly not in a state to be in a football match. Oh God, I hope she doesn't watch this. I doubt she does, but we never know.
I don't think so.
This was a few months ago, but I was covering the women's game. Remember when all the games were on at the same
Aye.
time? I was next to an older lassie and she was asking me why I'm on my phone all the time. I'm like, I'm covering the game. She just didn't understand it. I was using my phone for notes.
I'm a journalist.
Yeah.
I'm a journalist.
I find that quite funny when I said that. So that's great that I've got.
To be fair, I don't think. I mean, I'm specky, but I don't think any of us three look like your typical. Probably me the most, just because of the specs. But we don't look like the typical journalists. We don't dress like journalists. Well, like, you know, aye, there is. There definitely is.
Journal scum.
Aye, it's easy. Right, he's ready for the half-time quiz then.
Always.
We've not done one in ages. It's going to be McGinlay versus Kieran, and it's going to be a game of who am I. So, but one by one, I'll reveal a clue, and if you get it wrong, you're frozen out for the next clue. You know how we play it.
The very first half-time
I think that was the very first one.
I'm talking back in 2018 here, like when we first done the circuit.
Oh,
aye. Who am I?
God, aye, that was a long time ago.
Do you know what I miss? This isn't slagging the half-time quiz. I would never slag it. I'm not in that position. I missed the commentary one.
The commentary, I've only done it once so far.
I know that's a lot of effort and a lot goes into that, but I enjoyed that.
That was good.
Just give him my feedback, you know.
Aye. Well, thanks as always to Kieran, who's been choking to give us a quiz. He's been mailing me every week. When he's getting in studio, we're here, finally. By the way, just before we go into it, is it just me or did this place get darker for when we started? Did a bulb go or something?
I thought that
I swear a bulb was went because this place was not as dark when we started.
Maybe, I don't know. We changed the setting on the lights.
I know, but I swear a bulbs went somewhere. I don't know where, but I swear to God.
Maybe one of the ones.
I seen something flicker and then it got darker. Anyway, right, so we've not played in a while. McGinley's been doing pretty well in the quizzes this season. So McGinlay... Oh no, wait, no, it's not. It's just one player. He's played at the same time. I'm daft. You don't get a choice. Fuck off, Ryan. Okay. Right, he's ready for your first clue. First clue is, I have played with Henrik Larsson, Gary Cahill, and Rob Kieran.
Who, sorry? Rob Kieran?
Henrik Larsson, Gary Cahill, and Rob Kieran.
Former Rangers Rob Kieran?
Yes.
The one that started in the 5-1 game.
Yes.
Fuck, who'd he even play for apart from him?
I don't know. Can I tell you his career in all honesty? Right, that's your first clue. Obviously, if you want to move on to the next clue, you just... Right, okay. I have played under Martin O'Neill, Neil Lennon, and Steve Bruce. So Martin O'Neill, Neil Lennon, Steve Bruce is who he's been managed by, and he's played with Henrik Larsson, Gary Cahill, and Rob Kieran.
Gary Cahill. You go to England as well.
Are we working together on this?
No, these are against each other. But whenever you want to pass to the next one, remember if you guess, you could go for glory and get it, but you're frozen it for the next clue. So if you want your next clue, let me know.
I thought you were just frozen out altogether.
No, it's not. It's just for the next clue.
I'll go in the next clue.
Yeah.
Right, both of you for the next clue. Okay. Yeah. I have won both the English FA Cup and the Scottish FA Cup. Yeah, that's the light came on there, I swear to God.
Aye, something for
There's like a Eureka moment there. Did you get the answer?
The light came on. So, I'll recap the first three clues. I have played with Henrik Larsson, Gary Cahill and Rob Kieran. I have played under Martin O'Neill, Neil Lennon and Steve Bruce. And I have won both the English FA Cup and Scottish FA Cup.
Into
the mic, son. Into the mic, son.
FA and FA. Martin O'Neill. Managed under Neil Lennon and Steve Bruce. I might go for it.
Well, you always thinking about it.
I might go for it. Is it Sean Maloney?
I was actually thinking Sean Maloney as well.
Well done. Well done. 3 out of 5 clues.
That bulb bell is flickering.
Is it flickering away? I knew something was.
Steve Bruce at Hull City?
Wigan. No, Hull. Yes, sorry. I was looking at the wrong one. So I'll run through what the clues were meant to be just so you could see if you got it. So
the first
you obviously
team I've remembered with Wigan.
Wigan, yeah. So you obviously got the first 3 clues. The clue after that would have been, the last 2 clues would have been, I played for Celtic in 2 different spells. And I was going to say that'll be the one that gives it away. And then the final clue was I was in the 2003 UEFA Cup final. So that was the 5.
Right at the end.
Yeah, that was the 5 clues. So just to run through the result of how you got there: Henrik Larsson at Celtic, Gary Cahill at Aston Villa, and Rob Kieran at Wigan. Managers: Martin O'Neill at Celtic, Neil Lennon at Celtic, and Steve Bruce at Hull. Obviously, he won the Scottish Cup a couple of times, and he won the FA Cup with Wigan against Man City. They won for the 2 different spells, was obviously the start of his career, and then after leaving Aston Villa, and then finally Never forgiven for shooting a last-minute free kick he should have crossed after Henrik's double from headers. So there you go. That was quite good.
He was born in Malaysia as well.
Aye, that's right. He was born in Malaysia.
Those trivia questions you just remember.
Yeah. I mean, I was stunned. See, I found out he was born in Malaysia before I could. When I was that young, I couldn't fathom somebody being born in another country. So when I heard somebody was like, when I heard Aidan McGeady was born in, like, he was Scottish, I was like, my mind was blown. I was like 7-year-old. I was like, what? I was like, what? How's he playing for Ireland? And it's like, blew me away when I found out he was born in Malaysia. I was like, that's nuts. But well done, Ryan. Good wee half-time victory for you there.
Only quiz I'll be doing today, so.
Oh, you're hosting the full-time quiz, that's right. Right, okay, I guess we'll just move on to kind of football. I'm going to use the Q&A to kind of talk about everything that's been going on, but very quickly, let's talk about football and matters, because the last week obviously hasn't been the greatest for Celtic. We drew with Hibs, we then scraped past St Mirren. Has there been an over-exaggeration though, Ryan?
If you're talking about the whole week from Wednesday to Wednesday,
then
you've got to put the Atletico Madrid result in.
Well, that's one of the points I wanted to come to, because this time a week ago everybody was like, oh, we're back, we're brilliant, we're unbelievable.
It was just a disappointing result.
Yeah.
And they've only dropped points in the league in one game out of those two games, so. And they probably, I mean, I always do the stats bomb reports after the games or the day after, so you look into all the stats and everything and all the analytics and metrics. Celtic should have won that game against Hibs. The amount of chances that they had that they just didn't take was incredible. The possession at Easter Road, probably one of the highest it's been in a long time. I know, in fact, he would have had quite a lot of the ball under Ange Postecoglou as well, but it's good to see that trend continuing under Brendan Rodgers. Look, it's a different story if James Forrest takes that chance. Thankfully, he didn't take his chance last night, and it didn't affect us, which was good. Well, last night, it'll be 2 days ago when this is live, but thankfully it didn't affect us that time round. But they should have got 6 points. They're gonna have to settle with 4, but it's still 5 points clear. 5 points clear. 9 wins, 2 draws. A pretty impeccable start to the season, Kieran.
I know,
but yet some people are, calling
I think
it
it's
quits.
more annoying because, I feel like this season, if there's a slip up, usually they fucked up as well, and because they went, and I think it wouldn't have been that big a deal. I don't think if they had got beat or drawn the game at Ibrox last Sunday, but obviously them closing the gap, even though it's only down to 5, it's still a huge gap. Like, you'd have been buzzing with that ages ago, so. It's just around it's been cut down because we're capable. We just need to get on a run. I feel like I thought we were in a patch where we were in a pretty comfortable position. We were winning games and that. And at the start of the season, it was a whole lot of ups and downs. Even if we were winning games, it was the performance wasn't that good. There was always something lingering. And then I felt we hit a steady run of form, maybe interrupted by the international break, then came back. And then everybody's buzzing after Atletico last week. Have maybe ran themselves into the ground a wee bit, getting that result, and I'm sick of the whole European hangover sort of thing. But it's a tough place to go. Easter Road. I mean, we've seen the struggles we've had there.
Yes, Brendan's still never won
the
there.
past decade, but it's a game that you should be winning, and it's just annoying because as Celtic fans, we've obviously got no divine right to win every game, but we should have won that one on Saturday, and it just feels like we shot ourselves in the foot a wee bit. And going into last night, it just felt like, obviously we spoke about the other circumstances around the game, but it just felt like it wasn't going to be a stellar performance for the get go. You've seen I'm sure we'll come on to Forrest and Turnbull and there's some of the stuff being said about him on Twitter, but it's just. It felt a wee bit draining going into that game last night. You just knew it wasn't going to be a very good performance. And then I remember saying to you last night, I was like, I just hope I'm wrong, but I hope we come out and win 3-4-0 or something. But going into it, I wasn't confident. I'm glad we got the 3 points, but I think a lot of people were feeling the exact same going into that game last night. And I don't think it was helped when they seen Forrest.
The team selection.
I mean, I hate to keep harping on about Forrest, but I think even these most devout followers can maybe see that he's a bit an empty jersey now. I mean, I say no, like he's not been for a while.
No, aye. Wasn't he there?
Yeah, you've seen the night and day, like when somebody like Yang comes on who wants to take on a man. Like even if it wasn't being successful, you were just glad he was trying it, because Forrest is taking the ball. He's not really got the legs anymore. You can appreciate everything James Forrest has done for Celtic over the years. There's no taking it away, but I don't think it's ridiculous to say he shouldn't be anywhere near starting for Celtic now.
It's been like that for 4 years.
There's obviously going to be some people that will defend him at the hilt and you can't say that, what he's done. He's a wee
jinky,
as I said, you can appreciate what he's done, but there's no room for sentiment. Like,
no.
I feel like I say this every season with James Forrest, and then he has a wee purple patch, scoring a few goals, and what was it last year, the hat-trick against Hibs and that, and I was like, oh, maybe he's not finished, and then 3 games later I was like, okay, he's finished.
Aye, I think that last night, come back to the word that I used earlier on, saying, that kind of, I forgot the word that I used. But I feel like people just get really lost and when you don't perform to the calibre they quite expect. And then obviously everybody's like, oh, Rangers are turning a bit of form and all of that. And I'm not taking anything away from I just wanted to bring this up. I'm not taking anything away from the Rangers score last time. I'm going to sit here and pretend that 5-0 was like nothing and blah, blah. But have you seen the highlights of that game? Like, my God, it's one of the worst 5-0s you'll ever see. Like, the first goal, the goalie drops it and gives it to somebody. The referee basically helped Rangers get a goal in one of them. They got a penalty, and the other two were just, one was a cracking finish for Lammers, but they weren't amazing. People are like, end of the world. I'm like, I'm doing.
Did this not happen last year?
That happens every fucking year.
There's this circle that goes where on top of the world, then when it gets to the crunch time in February, March.
Some people are not built for a challenge. They can't take it. There is a weird kind of element of the Celtic support that really do expect you to win like 5-0 every week. And I'm like, it's never happened. I've seen a great start.
Not to sound like an older generation, but it is all that some people know.
Aye. But it's competition, man. You know what I mean? It's Mirren are well within their rights to challenge us. They're sitting third at the minute. They have been great. They're well within their rights to challenge us.
I was impressed with them last night too.
Yeah, they never had. Even when they were up 1-0, they didn't even go 10 behind the ball. They set out to try and get more.
Took a really good block from Nat Phillips at the end as well.
Aye.
3 points, and there was a point at the end of the match. Are we going to go in and actually talk about all of the match?
No. I mean, no. Okay. I mean, but your point was probably going to be valid anyway.
What was I going to say? I've completely forgot what I was going to say. But yeah,
we're in good hands.
What?
No, I was going to say we're in good hands.
Yeah. O does so well for the winner, and then takes arguably the worst corner I think I've ever seen.
Don't even get me started on fucking corners, man.
We are dreadful.
Oh, we are. We're really bad.
We're just as bad on corners as we are with penalties at this point in time, I would say.
We're just terrible at set pieces.
There's a persistence. I understand that sacrificing the style of play and that, and keep persisting with the short corners. But see the amount of times where the ball just ends up getting passed back to the centre half anyway. The whole point of a short corner is to get the cross in for a different angle and let players get moving a bit. It's just giving us the possession back and we don't do anything with it. I understand St Mirren, the teams like that, their bread and butter is heading the ball away for corners. That's what they like to do. But put a fucking challenge in for it, man, because it's annoying. How many corners did we actually get last night? It must have been high. Because at the amount of times at the start, everybody's cheering for that was getting the crowd up a wee bit. Then at the end, I'm not even fucking getting a wee shout for a corner.
No, I hate getting a corner
because it's pointless.
I'd rather a throw in now, and I say some. I'd rather the ball went out the other side of the line.
I wish we had a Rory Delap with a
long throw.
Place for Sparta Prague can do that as well. I noticed that.
More at Spiller, we had him. We had our man.
Mind we were linked with that the guy in the 2018 World Cup, the fair Iran that done the
front flip by the somersault, whatever it was he done.
I'm looking for these corners.
So but I want to just go into the Q&A because that kind of talks about so many questions. However, before we do that, we just need to very briefly pretend we've done a match preview for Ross County on Saturday. So how we feeling? Difficult game, difficult trip, but we should get the job done. You're laughing at
more of a difficult trip from some people than others. I'll actually be
you'll be there. You'll be there. But it'll be a tough game.
I mean, Ross County away. It's not been the past couple of seasons. It's been a venue where thinking back to the tight game, we had a couple of them. It was a bit nervy. It's a wee pitch. It's always the same. You just need to, and they're going to camp in and try and frustrate us. And currently, there seems to be, I don't think it helps with the midfield with Hatate being it, and you're trying to find that steady replacement. And I was surprised to see Turnbull get the start the other night. I mean, I know he scored and then fucked the penalty. I mean, there was a lot of talk of him cut his ears, but I seen the photo and he was just doing it. I mean, I think
still
that's
the same sentiment, isn't it?
I mean, David
I'll tell you
Turnbull,
what, neither him or Forrest should be anywhere near the starting 11 on Saturday.
Turnbull's going to finish this season with like some amount of goals and that for somebody that barely starts, I think. Because he'll end up getting put in games like this and getting the odd goal or a penalty because he's the only one that seems to get trusted with penalties. But see,
I think he'll get sold in 2 months.
You really think so?
He's only got 6 months left.
I know, but do you think they'll actually be able to sell him? Because he'll be up for the Bosman rule, so like people will just be like, oh no, we'll just wait.
Suppose.
And then get him at the end of the season. Plus Celtic, if we get through the
I
next
could
round
see
of
him
Europe,
moving
probably.
to somebody in the English Championship or something. Maybe not at tap end, but somebody would definitely take
Like
him.
Norwich or that. I know
Who
Norwich
wanted
from
him the first time.
No.
I'd much rather see Oldham in there.
So would I.
than David Turnbull.
Or
He got the
Awata, or
assist last
Bernardo.
night, didn't he, Home?
I thought he was absolutely brilliant.
I just can't get my head around that he does that celebration and misses a penalty. Like, oh my god, just rein it in a wee bit, pal.
I was more thinking, right, he's not played that well here, and if he scores this penalty, he could be on a hat trick.
Aye.
This would be so weird. Like, it'd be one of the weirdest scenarios where a player could get a hat trick since Emilio Izaguirre. Remember, he had the penalty and he skied it. I've never heard a response like it where the crowd actually laughed at the player.
Nearly hit me. Nearly fucking smacked me. I was sitting behind the goals that day. So Ross County, tough game, should win. Highlands, There we go. Highlands, right, let's go into the Q&A. Let's go through the questions. I don't even know how long we are into recording because we're so far away from that thing earlier. So like we could be an hour in, we could be 20 minutes in, I don't know.
About 35.
I was actually going to say about 35.
You think it's as little as that? Really? Wow.
I think we probably spoke at the start for about 20, 25 minutes.
All right. Well, that is leaving us.
Through the
It's leaving us in a good stead. Right, let's go then. We'll start with Doogie, who says, with Celtic giving out new contracts to key players, do you think this is to up the average wage bill so that when we bring in better quality players, it won't upset our current squad as they will be all on better wages? Just thinking it's part of long-term strategy.
I've never really thought about it like that before.
I made that point in an article a couple of months ago. I thought that was the case. But then again, they didn't really bring in anybody that would you would assume beyond the premium wage because of the amount that they paid for him. Because I don't think Nawrocki will be on a good wage, but that's because he was brought in for what, £4.5 million. Or do you know, he might be on just an average wage, but with the potential to go up. I think the people that are on high wages are now in the high end. I think with McGregor's wage getting upped, it's probably up the ante in terms of other wages. You know, Kyogo will be one of the highest earners. Maeda will be up there. Now Matt O'Reilly and Hatate, they'll be up there. The only person to not get a new deal, and I know they were in conversations, is Cameron Carter-Vickers. I don't know about yous, it's very, very important that Celtic sign him up to a new deal. He is the glue that sticks things
I think they'll do
together.
it. I think it'll happen.
So,
I think it'll happen.
So I heard that Greg Taylor and Cameron Carter-Vickers were both in talks for new deals. It doesn't feel like over 2 years ago since Greg Taylor signed that deal. I remember the comments below the tweet and everybody was raging about it, like why? And then he had that great season the next season. The second half of the season, apart from the Bodo Glimt game, he was really good in most games. So I'm guessing just for like the Scottish quota, just sign him up. But I think left back is certainly an area that needs to be improved upon. If Celtic are wanting to be serious in Europe and win games in Europe, then I think left back's got to be strengthened. But that's probably a podcast for another day.
I know, thanks for the extra dialogue on an unrelated point.
Sorry.
It's alright, I'm joking, I mean, yep. Is it possible, this is Jamie, is it possible for anyone at this point to take signing of the season off the kebab pie?
I seen that come through, I was chuckling away.
It could be signing of the season. From a one bite before I dropped the whole thing in the fucking grunt.
So good, man.
That is good. It is a tasty, tasty pie. Aye.
I feel like the wee Celtic crest on the tap's unnecessary, but I'm not complaining.
Aye, it looks like a jalapeno, man. That's what that first time I genuinely thought you walked up to me with a pie and a jalapeno on the
You
top.
said you thought it was mould.
Mould as well, aye. I thought it was a couple of possibilities.
A mouldy jalapeno.
A mouldy jalapeno. Cal, who's always here. Was there a point in signing Quan? Regardless of pre-season, he was never getting in ahead of the captain and a J-League Player of the Year.
I admired his optimism when he came out and said he was going to become the best player at Celtic and then leave for the Premier League or the Bundesliga, but it's still got a while to go yet, but somehow I don't think that's happening.
I would like to thank Juan for making those comments. 'Cause that's probably my most liked tweet this year. Probably should have bought Twitter out.
What was it you tweeted?
No, it was just those quotes.
Oh,
And it went wild.
Right.
And there was actually a South Korean fan that was in my Instagram DM saying, "Why did you post that?" I'm like, "Why did your player say that?" You know.
did you reply?
Yeah, that's what I said. I said he said
I
it.
can't believe you replied. I just left it.
No, I didn't want him having any sort of moral victory on me, so I retorted. And,
Nice. Did they reply back?
He did, yeah. Had a nice wee conversation. I said, "It's nothing
Listen,
against
he's
the player."
shite.
I probably should have left it and said how many appearances he had now.
Yeah.
But it's a weird one, isn't it? It's a really, really weird.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I genuinely don't think we'll ever see him play a game.
No, he's
I
gonna be
really don't think he'll ever play for Celtic.
He's going to be a quiz answer.
Which is a shame. The boys went to IKEA and decked out his house and all the rest of it, but he's not going to be here very long, I don't think.
What's the beer called again?
A jingle skog.
Yeah, that's what he got.
A jingle skog. Yeah, he's got one of them. Right, Anthony Devine, take Cameron Carter-Vickers aside. If the other centre backs had a battle royal for a place in the starting 11, who would win?
Lagerbielke, because he would hide under the ring, because I've not seen him in about 4 weeks. I swear to
Nice
God.
Hornswoggle style.
That feels it up. I don't know, slip on something and fucking decking at the big lanky.
He is. Do you know
He
he's
gives me Shane Duffy
he
vibes.
literally stole the words out my mouth. I was going to say, just reminds me of
Put the
Duffy.
photo side by side and they're both in the same pose, like holding the badge, and like, I'm like, oh my god.
It's
So
terrifying.
my
isn't it?
like clean glasses and then it's just fucking-
It's a horrible flashback. Adelaide is always in as well. He says, how bad do you think our team depth is? We're a few injuries away from having Turnbull and Forrest as regular starters. Taylor's our only left back. That mob are shite, but are you worried?
Where is he?
Yeah, that mob are shite, but are you worried that Rodgers won't get the same backing like what happened before?
Surely God they can't let
There's
the
got to be an
mistake-
eye-opener.
Like the mistakes of the past.
Yeah.
That he's coming in to this job the second time round thinking, right, they're serious this time. I've seen the batting Ange's got, but I don't know, because I mean he got a lot of players in the summer, but I mean we can go in the debate of project signings and that. Some of them are turning out to look like it, but at the time you don't want to write players off, because I mean even at the start of the con I was trying to no get too reactionary, but I mean it was fucking mince, but I was just trying to give him a chance. But I mean Rodgers sees these players every day in training. He knows where he needs to improve upon in January, and if the board are serious about keeping Rodgers for any length of time, they need to back him with the players he wants.
Can't make the same mistakes the second time round. You've got to keep this guy. Got to keep him hungry. Got to keep him motivated, because I think there is a potential for him to stay longer than the 3 years. To be honest with you,
He needs an incentive.
Yeah, that's
because
it.
his incentive this time round was to not get embarrassed in Europeans Europe's top stage, and. As it stands right now, we've not exactly got the best results, but I mean, so you can hold your head quite high for the games we've played. Even the first one, it was about kicking the balls. It was just typical Celtic in Europe, and then Lazio was even more typical Celtic in Europe. But then Atletico,
Oh, even more typical Celtic in Europe. Listen, I think the proof is in the pudding for the board to see that, you know, give him the tools and he'll do it. But I just have no faith sometimes in the guys that run our football club. I just think that they're really ill-fitted to serving the fans the justice we deserve as Celtic supporters for the money that we lump into this club every single year. We deserve better, and they just don't put the tools down. And I hope that changes. I really do. But I feel like sometimes you're just hoping for a miracle, to be quite honest. There's a lot of questions today, by the way, a lot of questions. So
Thank you very much.
I'm going to have to jump through a couple. So sorry if your question doesn't get picked. Here's a wee fun one, by the way. Che asks, what's everyone's favourite Italian restaurant? It's quite a cool one.
I actually went to Spontini's for the first time.
Oh, was it your first time?
On Monday, I
think that was going to be my answer.
The one on Byers Road, it was really nice actually.
Yeah.
What's the one in Jordan Hill?
Little Soho.
Little Soho
That's
is
my
really
favourite.
good.
That's
That
my
is really
favourite.
good.
That's the best.
I'm not
Yep.
I'm not well versed, and I don't really go out for sit down restaurant dinners a lot. So I don't think I'm the best to speak on like what I think the best is. But I mean, out of the ones I've been to, I'd probably go Little Soho.
That Little Soho is mine.
But they be mozzarella dippers at Spontini's were class.
I had a lobster ravioli and Spontini's, and it was gorgeous.
I got some spicy,
Gorgeous.
spicy pepperoni and sausage, like penny pasta. It was really good.
That sounds nice. You got a favourite Italians?
I've only been a couple of times, but I liked Amore.
Amore's good. I'm a big fan of Amore.
I like where that is as well. It's just on the corner.
Aye. The one in Alexandra Parade's good as well.
A smaller one.
Aye,
Because
smaller. Aye.
when you look it up on Google Maps or Apple Maps, whatever you use, there's 2 that come up.
Aye.
They've still got an upstairs in that one.
Aye, I've never been up the stairs right enough.
I've never been to Amore.
It's good.
That is good.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm the sort of guy that goes to an Italian and has fish and chips.
I was about to say their fish and chips is good.
It's so good,
It's
isn't
just good. Aye, their fish and chips is good.
The chips are nice. I'll need to go back. I've not been in about 5 years.
Right.
Anyone wants to come with me? You know what I
Oh,
mean.
you putting out a date? Aye. Aye. Don't think you're going to get many watching.
Big gym or something.
Aye. Right. Caden's asked for your top 5, but I'm going to ask for your top 3 performers this season. Go. Rapid fire.
Matt
O'Reilly top.
I'd go very quickly for me. It'd be Matt O'Reilly, Liam Scales, Kyogo. That'd be my 3.
I think it has to be that. I mean, the order could interchange, I think, with Liam Scales and Kyogo, but Liam Scales, I mean, I put the tweet the other day because it was like I said after the St Johnstone game that Stevie May ended any him having a Celtic career, and I hope he's seen that and he's put that on the dressing room wall for himself just to get himself hyped up. But no, fair play to him because in a season with so much defensive uncertainty, he's been the solidity that we were looking for, and I don't think going into this anybody expected that.
He's a headache now. In a good way,
Aye, a good headache.
Because that defence just looks mental. Because there's only 2 positions, unless you're going to play free at the back. There's only 2 spots there. Carter Vickers occupies one of them. When he is fit, he plays, and at the moment, when Liam Scales is fit, he plays. So now you've got Mike Nawrowski, you've got Lagerbielke that can't even get on the bench. You've got Nat Phillips, who's an emergency loan. Don't think he'll stay beyond the January. It's just too convoluted. You've got Welsh coming back into proceedings. Kobayashi will leave the club. Brendan Rodgers is.
I forgot
those
about
comments.
Kobayashi.
What?
I forgot about Kobayashi.
I know.
He exists.
Brendan
big
Rodgers
squad,
made those
man.
comments. He's a good professional. He looks after himself. He said the same about
Kobayashi.
He said the same about last. He also said the same about Effie Ambrose in his first spell. There's a way in which Brendan Rodgers speaks about players when you know where they're situated on the food chain, or not in the food chain, in the pecking order of Celtic. With Kobayashi, I think the writing's on the wall. He needs to leave on loan in January at least.
See, I feel like when we talk about putting these players out on loan, it's like I feel like it's just delaying the inevitable because it's like, see, if you want him back to Japan or whatever, he's definitely not coming back. Like you've seen that with Ideguchi. Is he still?
He's still on loan.
Like, he broke
I
his
think he's
ankle or
meant to return
something?
next month. I think his loan ends at the end of the J League season.
But
I mean, it was surprising with Scales came out of Gucci getting.
Oh God! Imagine that. Imagine he came back. It was class.
Brendan Rodgers has got a Gucci belt, so he means he'll have Gucci.
My Gucci belt just had the Gucci on it. I'm going to Photoshop that on him, by the way. Gucci's face in the buckle. I'm going to do that when I win. Gucci belt.
That's terrible.
Oh, here's a question. Who's the best penalty taker on the show, says Matthew?
It's not me.
I'm alright.
I'd probably go you because I can't. I'm not the worst at football, but fucking when it comes to shooting, man,
I've got a decent shot on me when I've got the right
I was
boots
a
on.
defender in my younger years. All we were told to do was
When we've been playing
the
fives recently, I've just been, sitting up top because I've been found my shooting boots. I changed boots, you see. I had a pair of laceless Adidas. Horrible. I'll never buy a laceless pair in my life. And I said, you know what, I'm going back to the trusted Nikes. Got a pair of Nike Tiempos. Oh yes, we're back, baby. We're back. Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali himself, he says, why has a highly promising youth talent, like we spoke about this the other day on my channel, right? Why is Rocco Vata not been given a chance in the first team? There's people have made this question very black and white when I feel like there's got to be more to it. I think if there's got to be a reason that now 2 managers in a row haven't done it.
May not be good enough.
Exactly, that's got to be it, because if he was good enough, he'd be in there. The boy's, 19 now?
And people will make they'll make that comparison with Ben Doak. Ben Doak got in the first team. He was shown
Vata has had a couple of appearances, hasn't he?
We allowed a 16-year-old to come on against Rangers, and we brought him on against Dundee United in a must-win game. And realistically, at 16-year-old at Celtic, what more do you expect? Like, you're not going to come in and start every game. I understand the boy's class, but still... I'm usually quite. I'm one of the biggest critics on this podcast about the way Celtic deal with the youth players, and there certainly isn't a clear path to the first team. But as we said, is it just down to the fact that the talent we're producing just isn't up to scratch? Because you look at the players that come through the academy, you're looking at players like, you look at the success stories like James Forrest, Calum McGregor, Kieran Tierney, but for they three you can name 10, 15 other people that just simply weren't good enough. You've got players like Stephen Welsh and Anthony Ralston in the team, but they're never going to be any more than squad players. I mean, Ralston had that season where you're thinking, he's proven us wrong, but at the same time, if you want to be serious about levelling up as a club, obviously you need homegrown talent, you need players coming through, but I don't know what needs to be looked at in order for the people coming through to be good enough, because it's just not been the case for quite a bit of time now.
Yeah, there's a really flawed. There's so much more to it than just being a Celtic. It's a Scotland thing, isn't it? Like,
this is the thing when it's shown that Vata's scoring goals in the Lowland, like, he's scoring goals, having a chance of hosting. Lee McCulloch in 2012 scored like 30 goals and a level higher than that. So it's not really anything to write home about. If he was doing it in the Youth Champions League, that's a different story. But Celtic B team are getting bodied every game.
There's a whole debate about like whether they should be they're playing against fully grown guys in this league, but I mean obviously the standard's not very high. So like
technically speaking, they should be.
But then there's also the critique like the development just isn't as good when they're playing against their own. Like, so it was. I feel like it's been an experiment to see how it works out. And the teams have usually fared quite well in the seasons they've been there, but it's just still no helping bring through players.
No.
I wonder if they're going to keep it going for the next season. Because Rangers pulled out of it, I don't know.
Oh, right.
Hearts and Celtic will feel about it.
True.
Because Hearts are just into it.
Aye.
It's interesting.
It's just like it's not just us. It's the whole. I mean, look at the Scottish national team. How many of the starting 11 are actually Scottish as well? We're relying on McTominay who picked Scotland, Gunn who picked Scotland, Adams who picked Scotland. A few other guys in there.
Harvey Barnes that shows Scotland.
We're relying on a lot of these guys who are English born. Big Cooper's English born as well, I think. A lot of these guys are English born, and we're hoping to come up. Like, without them, we'd be a wee bit less off quality wise. So it's not just a Celtic thing. It's just up and down the country, really hard to develop youth. Small population. And
if the rugby rules were in place in football,
what's the rugby rules?
Like 5 years or three or 5 years. It's one of the two. If you play in that country for 3 or 5 years, I can't remember the exact number, I should probably know that, but you can play for the national team.
Really?
If you look, well, that's why Van der Merwe plays with Scotland, because he's played for, I think it's Glasgow Warriors for about 3 or 5 years.
All right.
So there's South Africans in the Scottish.
I get you.
Look at the Japan team. The Japan team is full of Tongan players and different. I think there's an English guy in there playing for Japan.
Really?
It's crazy, but it's just because the players aren't there.
Aye. I mean, obviously Brendan Rodgers spoke about it at a few press conferences ago before one of the European games, talking about how the rule kind of hurts smaller nations, and he's not wrong, because it does. Like, as much people really get touchy, especially some older fans. A lot of fans like to cling on to the Lisbon Lions. They're all homegrown, and that's impossible. No, you're never going to be able to do that. And it's reality is, if it was possible, maybe in the next 20 years you could be looking at a Celtic 11 without one Scottish player in it.
Because you're at the point now where we talk about certain players not being good enough for the to break into the Celtic team, but the ones that are showing promise nowadays are getting offered ridiculous money for their age to go down to England and play for a massive team, even if it's their academy. Like, you've seen teams like even Rangers lost out for Billy Gilmore and that. So
Lee Morrison, and who was it? Was it Barry Hepburn as well?
Barry Hepburn went to
Bayern. Queen's Park now.
I think that's Barry Hepburn, because Lee Morrison went on loan to Wigan.
Right, we'll leave the Q&A there. So thank you for your questions, if you managed to make it. If you didn't manage to make it, I'm sorry. But listen, that's why we try and get in here every week, so that we can get them in. So on that note, I guess we'll move on to the final segment of the show, because I think we've probably been on for about an hour now.
Oh, definitely.
So we'll get on to the final segment of the show, which is the full-time quiz. This week it's going to be hosted by Ryan McGinlay, which means it's going to be me versus Kieran. So Ryan, take it away.
I'll just read the description. Let me talk to you. That's what he said. Yeah. That's coming, don't worry. Full-time quiz. So for today's quiz, it's simply going to be on a category I've been fighting for to back up like a bit of shit on a stick. That I've been fighting for to back up like a bit of shit on a stick. Scottish football. Celtic /Premiership/Cups/nicknames/stadiums are our topics of
Alright,
focus.
okay.
Good luck. ... Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Seen him the other night. I was there at the Hydro.
Right?
Yeah, I went.
Who was the lineup in that?
Well, the main event was LA Knight versus Solo in a street fight.
It's always a street fight in
Aye,
Glasgow.
and then it's been a street fight the whole tour. They just changed it from Houston to Glasgow to London to whatever. And there was a few. Drew was there, Bobby Lashley, SmackDown roster.
No Cody Rhodes.
No Raw roster. How could Cody Rhodes be there if he was on Raw the night before, man?
Does it really matter then? Oh, I suppose. Okay.
Right.
Okay, so in a bit. So who wants to player A and player B? How do you
I let
decide
Ryan
this?
Uh,
pick.
Oh, generous. Do you know what? I've had horrendous luck. I need to win a quiz, right? And I'm just going to try and go confidently into it, and I'm going to go as player 1.
Okay. Don't know if that was the right decision.
Oh, no. I need to win, man.
I think it's 1-0 Kieran already. Following last night's match with the Saints, how many goals have we scored in the league? 25, 27 or 29?
I'm pretty sure it's 25.
Correct.
Yes.
One
I
nothing.
looked at the league table
Sorry,
last
I
night.
didn't have confidence in you, but I should have had
I
confidence.
looked at the goal difference last night.
I'll
25.
give you the point now. Celtic's top goal scorer in the league is who?
Matt O'Reilly.
Correct.
Fucking piss, Kieran.
Matthew O'Reilly. Player A.
Yes.
Question number 2. Following Celtic and Rangers, which team has the best home form in the league with 11 out of 18 points?
Oof.
Stota.
I mean, I feel like statistically speaking, it should be St Mirren because they have only lost one game, but that one game was at home, and it was to Rangers.
11 out of 18 points.
Right, I'm going to just say St Mirren.
Incorrect.
Is it Dundee? No. Somebody said to me.
Come on!
11 out of 18 points.
Oh.
You know, that win against Rangers
Aye.
at the end of the season.
Aye,
But
then-
the League Cup win to Celtic
that's
won't
right.
even count. in
Aye,
that.
that's
I
right.
feel like I don't have any knowledge. See, since we stopped doing TSF, I
Oh,
barely even
same.
look at the rest
Aye.
of the table, man.
No, TSF.
Just
remember
taking
that?
wild
Rest in
guesses,
peace.
man.
Following Celtic and Rangers, Kieran, which team has the best away form in the league with 8 out of 15 points? Following Celtic and Rangers.
I don't know. Motherwell.
It would have been
St Mirren.
St Mirren.
Nah, I was
8
hoping.
out of 15
I thought
points.
I knew it was St Mirren, and I was like, he's going to say it because I said that, so I was
So
happy.
we're at
when he
one
said
each.
that.
We're at one each.
One each going at question 3. Nice.
Question number 3, Ryan. Out with Rangers, who were the last team to eliminate Celtic from the Scottish Cup?
Who beat us during? So in the COVID season, we went out the cups to Ross County and who? Because I feel like Ross County was the League Cup.
Out with Rangers, who were the last team to eliminate Celtic from the Scottish Cup?
Oh wait, did Rangers put us at the Scottish Cup? Oh, you've given it away. Right, so fuck me. So, God, it wouldn't even have been Rangers that year either, because Rangers put us at...
Out with Rangers.
I know that's what I'm saying, so it wouldn't have been... I know that's what I'm saying, so...
Don't say Rangers. Don't shoot yourself in the
So I
foot.
need to go even
Don't-
before that? Oh my God, I can't remember that. Like, so...
You'll kick yourself if you don't get this.
You've got to.
Scottish Cup. Out with Rangers. I don't know, Ross County.
Inverness.
Oh, you bastard!
Josh Meekins with the handball.
Oh, it's up in the right direction. Give me a point for like
Ross County.
radius, sir.
You don't get a point for working.
No,
'Cause you're working as well.
it's so annoying. It's so annoying.
Right, player B, 2 go ahead. Kieran, who scored Kelly's winner over Celtic in the League Cup match? And there's 3 options for you. Was it Marley Watkins, Danny Armstrong, or Kyle McGuinness?
I can't remember.
Oh, fuck. I've actually tried to block that from my memory.
I couldn't remember
Let's
that.
hope
You see,
then.
when I read this question, I couldn't remember.
What was B again?
So you've got Marley Watkins, Danny Armstrong, or
Oh,
Kyle
bomb.
McGuinness.
Armstrong.
He got the assist because he was the one. Remember, he was the one that elbowed
Fuck
Greg
aye.
Taylor. It was Marley Watkins, former Aberdeen. I think he was at Inverness as well.
I think so.
He's been about the places.
Right, so this is question 4, and it's still 1 each.
Yeah,
Yes.
Right,
this
come
is
on.
It's always
That's
a cool
hope.
show when it's us two.
I know.
Right, so this is team nicknames.
Right,
Who are known as the Red Lichties?
the Red Lichties are... Oh, I don't want to jump in case I get it wrong. The Red Lichties. Oh, where's David Buick when you need them? Is it Arbroath? Red Lichties. See, Arbroath don't even wear fucking red. Is it Arbroath?
Correct.
Yes, come on.
Player B, Kieran, to equalise. Who are the Bully Wee?
I knew that was coming.
Clyde.
I knew that was coming. I was going to jump in with Clyde on mine because I thought the Bully Wee were going to be there.
Right.
So this is it.
The final category before we
Stadiums, I'm good at stadiums.
It's stadiums.
Maybe not up here, right enough.
Which League One team plays at Galabank?
Galabank.
Not Galabingo, Galabank.
Galabank, League One. Oh, mate. No a clue.
You got to give me something. You can't pass. Just give a name.
I don't even know who's in League One. That's terrible, isn't it? I don't even know what teams are there. Stranraer.
Nope. Annan Athletic.
Oh, for never in a million years. Never in a month for
Here
Sundays.
to win. Let's see how your stadium knowledge is. Which League Two side play their games at Borough Briggs?
Bonnyrigg Rose.
Nope.
I was going to say them at all.
Elgin City.
Right.
Furthest up, furthest north round, I think it is.
The two grins that make me think when we done soccer Saturday, and it could have been Elgin, it could have been Annan.
So it's the tiebreaker
The
then.
tiebreaker.
One each, yeah. What a fucking show.
Stellar performance.
So the tagline is
No,
enjoy,
to each.
enjoy fuckers.
Enjoy.
How many goals have been scored in all 4 of the SPFL leagues?
Oh, fuck off.
That's why I gave you the
That's
stat.
horrendous. That's a horrendous,
All four.
horrendous question.
I don't even
Horrible.
know what ballpark.
I know,
we got
where do
him
you
in.
even start with
So
that?
you get the Premiership, the
Right,
Championship.
I know what the
League
leagues.
One.
Thanks very much for clarifying the leagues. That could be any number, right? Okay, I'm gonna go 633. There's no point in thinking. I just said a number.
712.
Ryan Fitzsimons has won his first quiz.
Yeah!
And I thought you'd get the exact number too.
How?
Because you said 600.
Right.
And then you said, what was it?
33.
600.
Is it 600 on the button?
Flat.
Aye.
I thought I was like, oh my god, you probably deserve about 2 or 3 points for that. But, ladies and gentlemen, Hod the bus, Ryan
First
Fitzsimons.
points on the board.
First points the board. I might stay up.
Have we still
Just feel
got
like
the board?
Everton. What?
Do you still put the board up?
I've not done it in the last one or two, but I'll bring it back today. I need to go back.
The Celtic podcast in need of a host. A punch in the air right now.
Aye.
You can stay for another day.
Well, who knows? I might stay up. No, this is my
Is this your
Everton.
redemption arc? Renaissance man,
Yeah.
like Lillian Scales.
No, I just needed the confidence. I needed a win behind me, and I've got it.
These were shooting blanks for most of that one, but it was an absolute
I'm too
shocker.
tired for this shit, man.
on that note, that brings us to the end of the show. It's been good to be
It's been
back.
good to be back,
It's
yeah.
good to be back. I've missed it. So we'll be back hopefully. Well, we'll be in Madrid next week, so I don't know what the script is in terms of if we'll do it before that. But I don't know. We'll
I mean,
figure it out.
Aberdeen's a Sunday.
So we'll see what happens next week
Is
then.
it a home game?
Aye,
Sunday
aye.
half 2.
Horrible.
I think both
I
get.
love that.
There's
That is
two
brilliant.
Scottish games
Sunday's
on the
made for sitting in the
telly,
house,
I know, I fucking
lying in your
Sunday,
bed,
man.
you know. Shouldn't be at the house on a Sunday.
Sunday's the
Why
Lord's
don't we
Day.
just play away
Aye.
then? Just play away every single game then.
Fuck it, may as well. Feels like it.
No, that's true.
Aye. Right, Ryan McGinlay, thank you very much, mate.
Thanks for having me, mate. Appreciate it.
And Kieran, thank you also.
Pleasure being back.
We'll be back next week. Like and subscribe if you've enjoyed it. Give us 5 stars on Spotify and all that jazz, and we'll see you next time. Cheerio.